today as the USGA and the R&A have announced proposals for significant changes to the rules of amateur status that govern the game worldwide. These proposals result from a modernization initiative that has identified a clear need to bring the rules up to date to reflect today's global amateur game and ensure that the rules are easier to understand and apply. Okay, so as part of that modernization effort, it is proposed that the new rules will identify only 3 acts that will result in a golfer losing their amateur status: accepting a prize in excess of the prize limit, accepting payment for giving instruction, and accepting employment as a golf club professional or member of an association of professional golfers. And the following key changes are now being proposed: eliminating distinction between cash prizes and other prizes, using prize limit as the only way an amateur can lose status through their play, removing restrictions from the rules surrounding competitions that are not played as part of a tee-to-hole competition, and eliminating all sponsorship restrictions. And the proposed rules are now inviting feedback from golfers and stakeholders, and comments will be accepted through Friday, March 26th, with the new rules scheduled to be adopted on January 1st, 2022. So for more, we welcome in Jaime Diaz and Steve Bukowski. Jaime, coming to you first, do you think this changes sort of what we think of or define as amateurism?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a big departure of what traditionally the USGA had very strict sort of boundaries on what defined amateurism. And, you know, basically it was built on the old idea of the gentleman's game, and, you know, it was sort of unseemly to make money at the game in any way. You know, caddies were even considered professionals because they took money. And, you know, back in the day, Francis Ouimet was declared a professional because he opened a sporting goods store and was deemed to have used his name to make money in golf. And Bobby Jones had to renounce his amateur status because he made some instruction films and because he took a club, this is after retirement, club contract with Spalding. So things have lessened over the years. They've eased up. But this is the boldest, I think, change going forward. And I think it's a reflection of the world we're in. Basically, you know, they want to broaden the game and make it easier for especially aspiring players to have an opportunity to have some economic support from the game without having to be a professional. It also is just realistic about, you know, what, you know, a competition really means in terms of who's actually going to become a professional. If you accept something less than $750, you're no threat to the professional game. If you go over $750, it's very clear, okay, that's the line. But, you know, and then people who make the money at the game, perhaps at the instruction level, yes, they're professionals still, and people who belong to professional golf associations are still professionals. But everybody else, I think it's kind of a laissez-faire, healthy move to make the game a little more easy to understand, number one, also to govern, and just be realistic about where the game is going today.
You know, Berko, making things easier to understand is often at the heart of this. You can sometimes read these news updates and think, huh? So sort of realistically, what impact might this have on amateur and college golf?
And it's going to be huge. It's the modernization, as Jaime alluded to, of what an amateur truly is in the game of golf. There were conversations dating all the way back to 2017 with the college associations and organizations. This didn't just happen overnight. Jaime and I did a deep dive. We're on a call with the USGA to get a better understanding and clarity. What jumps out to me, Anna, about the amateur side of it is the sponsorship ability. You go to so many of these U.S. amateur championships and girls juniors and boys juniors that we have covered for decades at Golf Channel and NBC, and you would see these national teams, maybe from Australia or other countries that had foundations and federations, and these players simply could go play golf. They didn't have to worry about the financial aspect of that. That wasn't an opportunity really available to the Americans, if you will. Now with the limits of sponsorships gone, you're now broadening the game potentially to maybe a family that simply doesn't have the money to send their son or daughter around the country, around the globe perhaps, to become one of the best amateurs in the game. So I think that's a very positive undertaking with these proposed new rules. Intrigued for the fact, though, I received clarification this morning, there is no age limit on this. So you could see, theoretically, on the other side of the equation, a 12-year-old golfer that looks like a NASCAR driver with sponsorship deals all over the place. So I think it is a very fine line. Big picture for amateur golf, I think it is a very good thing to maybe open doors that otherwise wouldn't be. And then from college, that aspect, I think it is the USGA getting ahead of the game. And it's just a matter of time till everything gets pushed through that a student athlete in college is going to get paid for their name, their likeness, their image. I think it is the USGA trying to realize this is going to happen and maybe not go hand in hand, but try to somewhat be on that same page with those student athletes playing college sports that also could open some doors, because those doors will be open. So they're trying to set some rules that are simple, clear, concise, that everybody hopefully will be on board with them come 2022.
And we see it across so many other sports, Burka. You know, these college athletes are seriously raising their profile and they're sort of gaining a huge fan base. I mean, what are you hearing from coaches about this side of things?
That's a good point, Ann. Everyone sort of thinks about college football or college basketball, the tens of hundreds of millions of dollars that's made for the schools, for all the organizations, and that these young men and women don't get a penny. It's an intriguing, slippery slope, if you will. Had the chance to speak to some coaches this morning with this news breaking. The pros on the proposed rules, very simple, clear cut. They are very cut and dry. They know what you can do and what you can't do. They love the fact that kids can get help in the summer. You're going to grow the game. And one coach told me, I think it's intriguing, they're not catering the game maybe to the rich or the elite anymore. This opens the doors, as I alluded to just a short time ago. On the flip side of it, I had one coach in particular tell me, what happens when the next Tiger Woods comes along, or somebody they believe has Tiger Woods, and he gets a deal worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, with the anticipation that when you turn professional, this is the arrangement that is set up. Coaches will now be concerned that you've got an 18-year-old that makes more money than all of you, and what am I going to tell the other 9 or 10 kids on my team to keep it fair, to keep it equitable? College football, Anna, you've got to be in there for 3 years after graduating from high school. If you're a college baseball player, you go to college, you have to remain for 3 years. If you're a college golfer, you can turn professional at any time. One coach in particular telling me perhaps the incentive for a collegiate golfer with that amount of money in his bank account, maybe that incentive dries up just a little bit. That's just a possibility of what could happen on the other side of it. Big picture for amateur and college golf, I think it is a huge step forward. As Jaime said, it's 2021. We can't necessarily deal with the rules of Francis we met and Bobby Jones a century ago.
Okay, good stuff, Burka.